Welcome to a movie I watched. A cry for help, poorly disguised as a hobby. I'm not gonna lie. This one... This one broke me. I have just finished. And when I say just finished, I mean I finished this movie less than 5 minutes ago, less than 10 minutes ago, in an effort to get this done before it needs to come out. And it was not worth my time. I don't think it's worth anyone's time. The movie I watched was Dangerous Liaisons, or however you're supposed to say it. Liaisons, liaisons, I don't know. I'm too American for this. But it is a French movie, which, based on my research, aka a brief Google search for the name of the thing, was based off of a book of some kind of French classic literature that I've never heard of. I won't pretend I'm an expert on foreign literature, or foreign film for that matter. But Dangerous Liaisons is the movie, the 2022 film, was apparently intended to be a updated version. So what that translates to is now, instead of what I can only assume would have been, French royalty of some form or another, is instead teenagers. And features a lot of references to social media and follower counts and Instagram in the most vapid way possible. And it is just, frankly, an hour and 40-something minutes of teenagers just doing rich people things, and having sex, and that's it. And for the record, the actors are presumably above the age of 18. I did not check. I don't care. There were no minors harmed in the making of this video, unless you count my sanity. This movie is terrible. Nothing about it was remotely good. So the movie essentially follows our main character, whose name I've already forgotten because I think she's boring, who moves to, I think, Bosque. I don't know. It's a real town, I believe. I think it's in Bosque. I'm not sure. I don't care. Moves to a new school where her cousin is the daughter of the principal, so the principal's her uncle. Yay, nepotism. And basically right after getting there, she meets this guy whose name I also forgot. I'm just going to call him the King, because that is essentially his role within the hierarchy of the school, who is basically the popular guy. And he's dating the Queen, who is this really popular girl. She's an actor or something, and they make a bet. And the King and the Queen make a bet where the King can, sleep with the main character. It's a whole thing. And I just frankly do not care. This whole movie is just so much teenage drama. And as someone who is currently a teenager, granted not in high school, but as someone who is a teenager, it's just so vapid. It means nothing. All of the characters around them are so much more interesting, because the main drama of the story is just a very formulaic, basic story structure, where they make a bet, but then he falls actually in love with her and won't do it, and then blah blah blah. They get together by the end. His fake girlfriend, the queen, gets Twitter canceled because reasons I I don't care to explain. You shouldn't care either. Don't watch this movie, please. But the other relationship dynamics within the story are so much more interesting, because you have this guy. He refers to himself as the merchant because and his rationale being, well, he sells drugs to people and is also like too important to the social structure for anyone to fuck with him. So, but he's gay. That's like his big thing, and he has this kind of like side arc about he's into this guy, but the guy is also gay, but not as like if like openly gay, because the merchant guy is like flamboyantly gay. He's one of my favorite characters in the movie. Being he's one of the few I didn't hate, but it. And then there's this other gay guy who he's into, who he's like I said, not as flamboyantly gay, and like it, and it was just a more like a more interesting dynamic, because the merchant guy was just a more interesting character who I cared more about. Same with the cousin, who starts the story as this kind of like weird loser dweeb who no one likes, but then over the course of the story she basically comes out as poly, for lack of a better term. She's dating two people, um and it's fairly interesting. She has a bit where she gets the guy that she's wanted this entire time. But she also gets this other girl she met who she had like made out with and had sex with when she was drunk, and she's kind of like stuck in this weird place where she doesn't know who to pick, and that's like a really difficult thing for her, because it's very similar to the reason why her mother left her father. And that that's interesting. I think in a better written movie, that could have been a perfectly serviceable plot. It would have worked. I mean, teenagers can be poly, and it's high school is a weird social structure, and being and just poly on top of that can lead to people having issues. I've seen it happen. But instead they choose to focus on a relationship so predictable that it just doesn't matter. They're just kind of nothing characters. The guy's like defining characteristic through the movie is he used to be an asshole, but now he's not an asshole, and he's really in love with her. And okay, do something unique, have original thoughts. Like movies and books have been doing this for forever. You can't just do that. And I know some people will watch this, and some people will like this. It's the same people who probably liked Euphoria, because people like seeing teenager drama and teenagers doing stuff and like tropey by the numbers romance. And if that's your thing, that's your thing. However, I think that Dangerous Liaisons is just a bad movie. Even if you like these tropes, I don't think it's a good movie. Because, if you're there for those tropes, then also there's all these other characters throughout the movie who are doing completely different things. So, if that's what you're there for, why do you care if the gay guy gets with the other gay guy, or the cousin gets with whoever, or or if the play does well, or how many social media followers they have, or if the random like asshole like joke character does all right? Like, who cares? Like, it's just random bullshit that feels like it's there to pad out an already too long runtime. And by the end, and it doesn't even have an interesting message where the girl or the female lead starts the movie believing in true love. The guy, the male lead, does not, because he just sleeps with whoever to win bets. Okay, sure. That dynamic is serviceable. But he doesn't change until, like, the last 10 minutes of the movie where he goes, actually, I do believe in true love. And I've been in love with you this entire time. Like, that's not like, you're really just gonna have character growth like that right at the end of your mediocre, trashy teen romance movie? Like, now, I will say, over the course of the movie, he is shown to be a better guy. He chooses, not to sleep with the cousin when challenged to. He chooses to, in the last, act, he chooses to break up with her rather than have his fake girlfriend, Twitter cancel her, which in the context of the movie is, I guess, a more romantic gesture. I don't know. He chooses, he doesn't sleep with her when he's not or when she's not comfortable with it. But that doesn't make up for the beginning of the movie, where he repeatedly tries to kiss her, knowing she's engaged, knowing she doesn't want him to, and then, trying to, force his way back into, her social situation. But by the end, it's okay, because he fake broke up with her to save her from being doxxed, or whatever it was. Who cares? This is really just a movie about it. Remove the high school part. They're all smoking. I'm pretty sure all of the relevant characters are above the age of 18. But it's just a movie where a bunch of rich French people have sex and argue and do drugs and rich people shit. Who cares? What is the purpose? Give me a reason to care about these characters in a way that I'm not going to immediately forget. And I understand that I'm kind of reiterating the same point over and over and over again. And part of the reason for that is that this is a nothing movie. I have essentially explained to you all of the arcs that exist in this movie. What I didn't explain is all of the convoluted, one-off bits. For example, the main character's dad is apparently some famous stage director. And we find this out from what I remember, unless there was, because I do not remember there being any kind of reference to it earlier than the first time it comes up, that it becomes plot relevant, where she makes there's an offhanded comment where some guy got injured the previous year, and the female lead makes a comment oh, we should raise money for him, and the male lead, in order to impress her and get in her pants, goes, oh, I'll raise the money as student council president, and so their idea for a fundraiser is to do a play, and the school board is no. And then the female lead goes, well, my dad'll do it. He's a famous director. And the school goes, oh, okay. And then there's this whole conversation with her dad where he's like, oh, well, your mom died, and I don't really feel inspired to. And she's like, please. And he goes, okay, fine. And then it is promptly ignored for a while so they can do weird rich people sex stuff. Like, and, like, yeah, the play makes up most of the third act, but most of it is a montage. Like, if you're gonna do it, commit. The only thing that like, pretty much all it does is serve to kind of not even all of the stuff that happens in the play could have happened without the play. The only thing is that, like, you know, he breaks up with her during the end of the play in character, so to the audience it sounds like a just completely like a completely intended part of the play. But it all it really serves to do, in my opinion, is, I guess, hammer home, or attempt to hammer home, this very strange, convoluted theme the movie has about audiences. But the reason I don't like the play aspect of that, if that's what they were going for, is because they could have just not. Because the whole point of the end of the movie is that you can have a massive following and still be a loser. So the message seems to be that, you know, caring about social media followers is a bad thing, I guess. And I kind of want to pivot that into, I'm not sure what the movie is trying to say about social media. A lot of the characters spend a lot of the movie using social media. And it's not used poorly, but it's not used well. Like, there was never a point where I was like, oh, they don't know how social media works. They presumably just understood enough to, like, get the basics down. But the queen, the fake girlfriend of the male lead, is obsessed throughout the entire movie with her Instagram popularity, whatever. And this is seen as a bad thing that makes her shallow and mean and just a complete asshole. But then, at the end of the movie, she gets Twitter canceled because she says, oh, I don't care about my fans. And then the end credit scene is showing all of the, like, it shows how many followers all of the characters have. And the weird thing is that, like, the queen, like, the fake girlfriend was, like, a child actress. Like, she was incredibly popular, but the movie is like, yeah, she has 3 followers. Like, no. That's, like, I do not believe that a public figure with that much fame would have that few followers. Hell, I don't think you could have any account with that few followers because of the amount of bots and spam accounts that would follow you. Unless she, like, blocked everyone, which also doesn't make sense because she wants people to pay attention to her. But the movie is just like, yeah, she has 3 followers. Like, what? What about, like, I guarantee you, because the whole thing isn't even on her account, it's on some other person's account. So are you implying to me that every single one of her old followers saw the other girl's call-out post, took the other girl's side, and remember, she's an actress, so, you know, tons of parasocial relationships, and, like, super fans, those always exist. Duh. So all of them looked at the other girl's side of the story and went, oh, yeah, you're right. Not only are you right, I'm going to unfollow her. And this was every single one of her followers. There was not, someone who was taking an extended hiatus from social media, someone who didn't follow the drama, someone who just wasn't there for when it happened, people who didn't just took her side regardless. Like, no, all of those unfollowed her. She has three. What? That just... So I don't know what they're trying to say with social media. I don't know what they're trying to do at all. This movie is terrible. Don't watch this movie. Just don't. There are better uses of your time. If you want like a teen drama, go watch Sex Education. I like that show. That show is awesome. It is so much better. But no, I watched Dangerous Liaisons. This has been a movie I watched. Just end my suffering.